Hello, and welcome to our interview preparation session for hiring a school leader to serve at Rocky Mountain Prep. First and foremost, thank you for taking the time to participate in this process. We are excited to partner with you to receive your feedback and thoughts about our candidates to help to ensure that we are selecting the strongest school leader. We know this process is important to you, and we are grateful for your willingness to participate. Each school leader applicant will be going through the following process. First, they will apply online. Then, they will complete a task aligned to the types of work that school leaders do on a day-to-day basis. Next, they will complete a 2.5-hour interview with network leadership, first completing a review of their resume, and then answering competency-based questions. Then, they'll do an interview panel with parents and staff. And finally, network leadership will discuss each of the candidates using the input of staff, parents, and other stakeholders. We want to be very transparent. The information collected by parents and staff is critically important to the final decision, and the final decision will belong to James Cryan, the RMP CEO, utilizing all of the data collected. You have an incredibly important role in the candidate selection process. In order to complete this, we ask you to review the resume and any other application materials provided. You will ask scripted questions utilizing the rubric that we will send to you, and we ask that you maintain impartiality and formality during the interview process. We ask that you provide feedback to James and the leadership team utilizing the rubric, and we ask that you do not provide feedback or thoughts directly to the candidates. Again, your role is not to make a final decision. If every candidate you interview seems like they could do the job well, based on the responses to the questions, please feel free to mark the rubric as such. Please do not share any information from the rubric directly to the candidate. We want to make sure that this process remains as objective and judgment-free as possible. We don't want to mislead a candidate by offering an opinion on their likelihood to be hired after only one part of the process, when there are many components to the interviews and process that James will be considering. Sharing rubric information with candidates prior to the interview makes the process less fair for all involved. Of course, it's completely appropriate to thank candidates for their time and tell them that you enjoyed learning more about them. Let's take a look at the school leader interview evaluation form for the parent interview. On the day of the interview, you will receive this form printed out. We ask that you write the name of the applicant, your name as the interviewer, and the date at the top of the form. Before beginning the parent interview, we recommend speaking as a group to determine who will ask the questions for each section. You can see that the template is divided into sections based on core competencies that we believe are necessary for school leaders. On the parent interview template, these include parent engagement, culture and discipline, parent communication, and academic achievement. Let's pretend that I was tasked with the section on parent engagement. First, I might write my name next to that section so that I know I'm the one asking the questions. We should all be familiar with the specific things that we are looking for in the candidate's answer. For example, in this section, the question is, an effective school leader maintains excellent communication with the parent community. What have you done to connect with and involve parents? In your answer, include how you involve parents who do not have access to English as a first language and/or technology. As the person is answering, all of us would be looking for the following 3 things. First, does the candidate share specific examples of how he has communicated with parents in the classroom and beyond? Has the candidate provided specific solutions and ideas for working with parents who speak other languages besides English? And has the candidate provided specific solutions and ideas for working with parents who do not have access to technology? If the candidate has not provided one of these things, I might ask an additional prompt, such as tell me more, or give me an example of that, or what did you do in this situation? I can offer additional notes here. Once I've had the ability to check, yes, they did this one, no, they did not do that one, and yes, they did this one, I can circle where the candidate fell within our rating system. For example, if this person received 3 checks, they would be labeled as exemplary. If the candidate received 2 checks, I would circle this one as fully acceptable. If the candidate had 1 check or less, I would circle not fully acceptable. At the end of the process, I would make some determinations. Under next steps, I would rate the candidate as one of the 3 following. Either first, that based on this interview, I would recommend the person for hire, or based on this interview, I would need more information to determine if this person should be recommended for hire, and I would note in this section what it was that I felt that I was missing. Or based on this interview, I do not recommend this person for hire. We'd like to reiterate that if every person that you interview feels like a good fit for Rocky Mountain Prep, you can mark all of them as recommended for hire, or recommended not for hire. We'll be considering the full package for James to make his decision, and this will be part of that consideration. Let's talk through a few best practices in doing the interview process. First, it's completely appropriate to have a professional and warm tone throughout the process. Don't be afraid to smile and enjoy the interview. Please do not provide feedback after a candidate has answered the question. For example, it's better to say thank you instead of wow, great answer. Next, it's great to use 2 or 3 judgment-free follow-up questions to gather more information. For example, if a candidate has not given you enough information to be able to score their question appropriately, it's completely appropriate to say, "Tell me more," or "Can you give me an example of that?" or "Tell me what happened next." Finally, please thank candidates at the end for their time. Thank you so much for taking the time to participate in this process. If you have any additional questions about this training or the rubric itself, please don't hesitate to call me, Sarah Taylor, the Managing Director of Academics and Talent, at 303-909-5089 or email me at staylor@rockymountainprep.org. We're so excited to launch this process with you. Thanks again.